welcome to part 1 of my brand new island living Let's Play, which also happens to be my very first Let's Play, so we're gonna see how this goes. You might be wondering, if this is an island living Let's Play, why are we clearly not in a tropical paradise, beautiful home on the beach, and we are in fact in Newcrest. Ironically, on a cloudy, ugly, rainy day, the total opposite of the weather in Sulani. Well, the backstory of the story for this Let's Play all starts with this girl right here. Her name is Addison Kelley. She is currently a teen and she is the star of this story. To give you a little bit of background, I have her backstory written out here. Addison Kelley has been a city girl her whole life, growing up in the lap of luxury with her parents' watchful eye on her at all times. She's grown into a bit of a perfectionist, anything to live up to her parents' hopes and dreams for her. When her military general father is sent on a dangerous new assignment in a small town called Strangerville, her parents decide she's better off not coming along, but being just 16, they can't leave her all alone. So we have come into this household and into this family's lives on the brink of some pretty serious news. Addison is being told by her parents, Eliana and Clark Kelley, that she's not going to be living with them anymore for probably a year. Her father, Clark, he's a lieutenant colonel in the military, and he just got a new assignment in Strangerville to investigate this really crazy stuff going on out there that no one really knows what's happening. They need forces. He's been called to duty. Now they know that this is going to be a dangerous assignment, so him and his wife, Eliana, don't think it's a safe place for their 16-year-old daughter to be. And so they are currently breaking the news to her right now that she will be staying with her mom's younger sister, Aunt Cora. I mean, look at her face. I mean, you can't blame the girl. But look at her face. She's totally unhappy about this news. She just is not excited for this at all. She's really close with her parents. She considers her parents some of her best friends. And honestly, she grew up hating her Aunt Cora. And I guess for some backstory on that, I have that written out too. So her mother's parents have long since passed, and her father's family is estranged. So Aunt Cora is the last person that can watch Addie while her parents are away. And Aunt Cora lives on the island of Sulani. Addie hasn't seen her since she was a toddler and grew up being told that Cora was the black sheep of the family, refusing to adapt to modern life and desperately clinging to old and tired traditional ways of the older generations. Like any teenager, Addie is already unhappy about being shipped off to an island far away from her friends and SAT prep classes. Will she be able to warm up to her Aunt Cora and embrace the ways of her ancestors, or refuse and turn up her nose at them? More importantly, will she be able to find her place in this temporary new home? In the process, maybe even find herself. So yes, this is a big change for Addie. She is literally a perfectionist. She's also a snob. I mean, look at where she lives. Look at her. Let's just admire this. I found this on the gallery. I don't remember who made it. I just feel like hashtag Newcrest, and it was one of the most popular items. They live in this beautiful modern mansion, the exact opposite of life in Sulani. She's a good student. She's a good daughter. She's best friends with her parents, like everything typical girl next door would be. And now she's being told that she won't be able to live with them. And she's staying with her crazy aunt on an island in the middle of the ocean for a school year, away from her friends, away from her college prep classes. Life is just uprooted for poor Addie. And at 16, that feels like your world is ending. So her mom is breaking the news to her right now. Her mom, of course, is really sad too, because this is her baby. This is their only daughter, their only child. And it's hard for her as well, just as hard as it is for Addie. But of course, her dad, Clark, he's just concerned about work, which, I mean, he's concerned about his daughter too, but, you know, he knows this job is important. He knows that this assignment is critical. They really are between a rock and a hard place here. They don't have any other choices. Oh my gosh, look at how sad she is. She is just, yeah, go give yourself a pep talk, honey. You need it. They're both just really upset. And, you know, they're really close, but when you break news like this, it's like there's no way to just get over it. So they don't even want to talk about it. They just want to go do their own thing. Her mom's going to go play a video game, I guess, to get her mind off of things. And Addie here is just trying to talk herself out of it, trying to tell herself it'll all be okay. But this city girl has no clue what she's about to get into on the island of Sulani. So I guess a bit more about her family. Of course, we saw Addie's traits. She's a snob. She's a perfectionist. She's also gregarious. Her aspiration is to be friend of the world. You know, classic girl next door, like I said. Popular at school, you know, the works. But very much a good girl. Her mom is materialistic, ambitious, and family-oriented. And she just hopes that she has a successful lineage with her family. So success in her family is very important to her. She is a little concerned about her daughter being gone for so long, being away from SAT prep classes and college prep in general. And she's really in those important formative years where grades matter exponentially. And, you know, she's just going to come in here and talk to her daughter one-on-one without her husband around, without Addie's dad around. Oh, no, okay. He just snuck in a little bit there, but he's gone now. Because, you know, they really are close. They really are like mother, like daughter. She's going to talk about how great she thinks their family is, and she's going to give her a hug because she just wants to let her daughter know that even with all this happening, you know, it'll be okay. They'll be home soon. They'll be reunited soon. So she's trying to comfort her daughter because it's a hard decision. It's a hard situation. But, you know, at least Ileana gets to stay with her husband, and poor Addie is being shipped away, basically to another world, away from her best friend, who her best friend is actually, let's see, Monica. This is her best friend, Monica Brighton. So she's self-assured and she's a genius. Everything Addie wishes she could be. And she won't be able to see her anymore. They'll only be able to talk on the phone and text. Her life is just being uprooted in every possible way. And of course, her dad, in typical dad fashion, just is ignoring the problem. He doesn't want to talk about it that much. But, you know, he is a pretty, like, laid-back guy, so he wants to comfort his daughter, but just doesn't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it like her mom does. So he's going to ask how she's doing, you know, ask about her day. I mean, he kind of knows that obviously it's not going that well, but he wants her to know that he is there for her. So poor Addie is the star of our show. And Aunt Cora is Ileana's younger sister. And there is so much history between Ileana and Cora and their family. And there's lots of history behind why she doesn't like Cora and why she raised her daughter also to not like Cora and why they think she's the black sheep. But we'll get into that as time goes on. For now, though, let's go ahead and get Addie off to Sulani. She's going to go pack her things. She's going to catch a plane. And we are going to get over there. And here we are in the beautiful world of Sulani. Now, I know that most of you have probably already seen this world already, if not yet already played in it, but it's just gorgeous. Hands down, one of my favorite Sims 4 worlds we have ever gotten. The attention to detail is incredible. The scenery, the colors, the sunsets are amazing. And it's just a totally different feel, unlike anything we've ever had so far in the game. The closest I would compare it to is like Selva Dorada from Jungle Adventures, but it's something else. You really have to see it to experience it. But this is Aunt Cora's house. She lives right on the beach in this beautiful, lush part of Sulani. You know, she seems to be living the life. But interesting story about Cora. Her husband recently passed away in a mysterious diving accident. And he actually, his tombstone is right out here in the front. You know, she put some beautiful flowers here for him. But she is still so distraught over him. And again, as time goes on, we'll get more into that backstory of how they met, how that affected her relationship with her older sister, all of that. But for now, all you have to know is that Cora she's sad, to put it very lightly. She feels like her life is over. Her true love, her best friend, her husband passed away, and he was a renowned diver. It doesn't make sense that he would have died in an accident. So it's a bit of a mystery. His body was never recovered, and she's still getting over that. And honestly, living on this island, as much as she loves it, as much as she loves the people and the culture and the traditions, it reminds her of her husband, whose name is Sion. Yep, Sion, right there. You know, he was a child of the islands just like she is. They were both Sulani natives. They both love this country more than anything in the world. And now, what once used to bring her so much joy and happiness just reminds her of her husband and how much she misses him. And then she has to take in her niece. And of course, her niece doesn't really like her all that much. So, you know, Addie's going to come over here and she's going to act tough. She's going to seem like, you know, typical teenager. She thinks she knows everything. She's going to, you know, she doesn't think that living on the island is any fun. Like, she thinks it's going to be awful here. She thinks her Aunt Cora is a crazy lady, like how she's been raised to believe. They're both headstrong. They both have very different views, and she's gonna mock her a little bit, you know. She's like, you know, thanks for letting me stay here, but I know I'm gonna hate it. This is just not my scene. This isn't where I belong. I belong at my high school in New Crest with my college prep classes and all my friends. And of course, Cora is just not gonna have it. Cora is just as headstrong as Addison. And actually, she's gonna go ahead and, can I adopt her as a caregiver? I don't know if I can, but I would if I could. We'll see if that comes up eventually. Addison has her face mask. She doesn't even skip her skincare on Sulani. She is ready for that. But it's going to be a big adjustment for these two, getting used to each other, their different ways of living, their different point of views. And, you know, they're going to sit here and chat awkwardly, tie up some loose ends. You know, Cora's going to tell her where she's going to be going to school. You know, of course, Cora's the bigger person. She's an adult. She knows she has to apologize. This is just a child, basically. There we go. Adopt as care dependent. She doesn't want to alienate her niece, but she is also going through a really tough time. She's also going to go ahead and spread conservation awareness because Cora, of course, as a lover of the islands, she works for conservation. She wants to protect the island and all the beautiful life in it. So she's always trying to educate people about that. But for Cora's backstory, you know, she is Ileana's younger sister, and their parents, who are named Kiana, that's their mother, Cora's mother, so Addison's grandmother, Cora and Ileana's mother, and her husband Makani, which is Cora's father and Addison's grandfather. They were Sulani natives. They were from this island. They were raised here. They were generations traced back from this island. They loved it here. But they had to leave when their home was destroyed in a monsoon, and they didn't have the money to repair it. They were concerned about the future opportunities for their daughters, so they moved to the mainland. And it broke Cora's heart. Unlike her sister, she'd always loved the island. She'd had a special connection to it. And she didn't know what to make of it when they finally had to leave. And so she took it really, really hard. She's gonna eat some chips real quick. And yeah, so she took it really hard. She just dreamed of the day she could return, and she kept pen pals of her friends from the island, one of those being her future husband, Sion. And she finally was able to return to her home in the island, and she has been at peace ever since. She loves it here more than anything else. So these two definitely have very different opinions, very different points of view, and they're both pretty headstrong about that, you know? Addie's a good girl. She's a nice girl. She doesn't want to be a troublemaker, but she also really sides with her parents. And she knows that her mom doesn't like Aunt Cora. And she knows that this is not the lifestyle for her. She's meant to live in the city like her mom did, go to college like her mom did, get a nice corporate 9-to-5 like her mom did. And she knows that that's what's best for her. I mean, look at her. She's just a willy-nilly reading a book on her own. Like, she's so studious. She's very educated. She loves to be educated. She just very ambitious. She wants to have a typical, bigwig kind of job like her mother, who works in business. And Cora's out here mourning Sion. See, she loved him so much. It's still really hitting her hard. He hasn't been gone for that long, and she's still dealing with it, and it's really, really tough. So we'll see if these two can find a way to see eye to eye, build up some type of friendship. Right now, they don't really like each other, and Addie is just miserable here. She's already, started to move in. She brought her luggage, her stuff. She has her backpack over here. And, thankfully, Cora has this little guest house attached to her house. So Addie kind of gets her own space over here, which she's very grateful for. And, on one hand, she loves the view. She thinks it's beautiful here. She thinks it'd be a great spot to vacation. She's just not so convinced that it'll be a great spot to live and to go to school. And what is happening here? Let's not do this right now. Okay. There we go. Okay, so looks like we have a guest, and Cora is very social on the island. Whenever Sion was around, he was very popular on the island. They're very social people. They are just so friendly, so she's definitely going to invite this guy in. And Addie is probably just totally uninterested. She's going to go check her social media. Go check her social media. Or not. There we go. Okay, so Cora, friendly introduction. Maybe play a game? Is that going to work? Okay, this guy is just not wanting to work. So maybe Addie is going to come out here and she's going to sunbathe in her swimwear. Because she thinks that's the one good thing about this place. That, the sun, she can get a good tan. Oh, actually, that message was from Kaya Keala, which I don't know if you've noticed, but Cora's last name is Keala. So is her husband, Sion. That is her mother-in-law. So Kaya is Sion's mother, and his father is not in here. We'll get to that though. You'll definitely meet them. They're adorable, very traditional, just like Cora and Sion were. But for now, Cora is going to entertain this guest because, she's so hospitable. Her and her husband were always so welcome to having guests. They were the first people to help out whenever something was going wrong. So she's just very, very welcoming. And Addie over here is getting her tan on. She's just trying to stay out of the house, away from Aunt Cora. She's trying to do her own thing. She's not happy about this, but she figures that at the very least she can make the best of it. And she also figures that, school here will probably be a lot easier than college prep was at Newcrest, so that'll be a bonus. So she's just trying to find the light at the end of this very dark tunnel. And Cora over here looks like she's getting some more guests that are bringing some food for her, which is amazing. I love that they added that in this pack. This whole like culture community aspect to Sulani, where neighbors will come and bring you food, they'll help you put out fires. So it really adds that extra touch. And having people over does like get her mind off of things. So we're gonna come introduce ourselves to these neighbors. And we're just gonna, thank them for coming, thank them for the food, get to know them a bit more. And just be generally a great host, because that is what Cora loves to do. Her aspiration, speaking of which, is actually the beach life. So she's very laid back. She just wants to have a good time with the people that mean the most to her. And of course, it's kind of hard when she just lost her husband. She's a widow now. She lost her true love. So it's going to take her a while to get over it. But, hopefully she can come back better than ever, dedicate her heart and her love to this island now instead. And she was definitely aggravated from Addie, but more than anything, she's just upset. So it's like she can't even be angry at her. She's just tired. She's just so tired from all the pain and heartbreak she's been going through. And Addie, of course, is getting a sunburn. Okay, let's not. But Addie, of course, is just, she doesn't even know, like, nobody told her about Cora's husband dying. She found out slightly, but it's hard to sympathize with someone when you've been raised to dislike them your entire life. So the day is starting to wind down. The most beautiful sunsets in the world happen on Sulani. But, oh look, she's a little pink. She's not used to this kind of sun. She's used to rainy, dreary Newcrest. So maybe use some sunscreen next time, girl. But she's kind of missing her best friend Monica. So she's going to send her a text. I wish you could come out and visit me. It's so awful out here already. I'm dreading the first day of school tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to survive here without you. In classic teenager fashion, she just thinks that everything is the end of the world. And she just really doesn't want to be around her aunt right now at all. She just wants to go be alone in her room. And it's going to take her a long time to adjust. She misses her mom. She misses her dad. She misses her life back home. So she's just not exactly sure how to adjust to this. And, it's going to be hard for both of them to get used to this. But at least they have beautiful island views to admire. I mean, just look at that. I mean, it's, okay, tree, get out of the way. There's dolphins over there. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. The colors, the reflection on the water. I just am obsessed with this world. And, I feel like, oh, here we go again. Okay. I feel like Addie will learn to love this place too. And so I guess with that, before I totally end this first part here, I guess we have to end that real quick. I want to go introduce you to some of the other families in this world to kind of give you the background. Because when I set up this Let's Play, when I set up this save, I set up different families with different storylines, and I want them all to interact. It's not too much. It's still a small, tight-knit community like how Sulani is, but there is something there. So this is where Aunt Cora's house is, the Keala household in the neighborhood of Lani St. Taz. And you got this backstory, but this is her little description of the household for Cora. And for her parent-in-laws, her mother-in-law and her father-in-law, and her sister-in-law, actually, they live over here, also the Kealas, obviously. So we have Kaya, who is the person who texted Cora earlier. Lots of K names here. Trying to not get them all confused. Then we have Aki, which is Kaya's husband, Sion's father. And then we have Sion's little sister, Luana, who is a teenager. So their story. After the tragic death of their son and eldest child, Aki and Kaya have only gripped tighter to the island traditions and culture they have loved for so long. Meanwhile, daughter Luana feels more suffocated than ever before and has been dreaming of life outside of Sulani. Will Luana and her parents be able to see eye to eye? So Luana is not only the same age as Addison, but also kind of has the same viewpoint of her, that life in the city is better and Sulani sucks, basically, which totally doesn't, but teenagers have their own way of seeing the world sometimes, and she's just wants to be different. She wants to find herself in this world. She doesn't want to restrict herself to just following along with her parents and her older brother, Sion, who was always like the star of the show. He was always the favorite. He was always popular in the community. She wants to make a name for herself. And the other household I've placed is the Kame Aloha family. So we have Ahi, not to be confused with Aki, and his son Kikoa, who goes by Kiko. And their story is, Ahi is all about the laid-back lifestyle, from working odd jobs to make ends meet to letting his son Kiko do just about whatever he wants. Although most of Kiko's friends at school envy the lax rules put on him, Kiko can't help but wonder just why his dad doesn't seem to care. What will it take to finally get his attention? And Kiko is really good friends with Luana, and they're both teenagers. And of course, his dad, he's known around the community, but doesn't have the best reputation. He drinks a little too much juice at the bar, if you know what I mean. So those are the other players in the story. I'm so excited to dig into this, to see how Addie and Cora get along, to see how they adjust to living together, to see how they interact with their community, to see the things that Addie learns about herself and about the culture and what she discovers about life on Sulani, because it's very, very, very different than life in Newcrest, as I'm sure you can tell. So I'm pretty excited to get into this. I know this first part was, it's kind of setting the stage for everything. It's not a lot of action. It's just a lot of me talking about things, setting the stage. But I assure you, I have big things planned, and I'm really excited to get into it. I'm excited to see where the gameplay takes me to, not just sticking myself to a plot. And I'm just going to jump in here real quick so we have something to watch while I talk. But I super, super appreciate you if you watched this first part. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything you want to see or any ideas you have for things that Addison, Addie is easier to say, Addie should check out on the island, anything you want to see in island living, and just let me know and I'll see if I can incorporate it. I think, Addie's a fresh face. She's never been to the island. She has no idea what it's all about. So she has a great opportunity to try everything out for herself. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here, and that'll be the end of episode 1 of my Island Living Let's Play. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.